Hello again, my kid Dezaras Prime. Back with the final piece of the Scramble City portion of the Combiner Wars puzzle, Cyclonus. I've had to let my phone charge, and while that was charging, I edited and rendered a video. I did the housework. I did adult shit while I couldn't be a kid. Compromises, eh? But yeah, this is the final one of the Scramble Combiners. Just a refresher, and Scramble Combiners are basically the ones that can mix and match. Like Cyclonus, as Galvatronus, can hold any of the Scramble limbs, the exceptions being Devastator, because Devastator's not a Scramble Combiner, he was never a Scramble Combiner. But yeah, so this is the last one. There's the comparison with Silverbolt and Scattershot to come, but this is it. So I mean, I've still got Ultra Magnus and the Devastator parts to review, but they're different. There's no comparisons. They're not retools or remolds or anything like that. So we are truly at the end of the Scramble City portion of the Combiner Wars line, and we finish with Cyclonus. I mentioned before that in terms of teams, it started out with Hotspot and ended with Onslaught, so that mould kind of bookended the teams. Cyclonus doesn't have a team. He uses the power of mind control to persuade others to join his cause and his body. My opinion, that's just an excuse for them to not give him limbs, which is a shame because we have a lot of Autobot limbs. Take away the teams, and there are no Decepticon limbs. You got two with Power of the Primes, Dreadwind and Darkwing. A couple more would have been nice, just so you could give Cyclonus a full set of Decepticon limbs. Because all the other Decepticon limbs belong to other teams. So, you know, Cyclonus has to use mind control to use some spare extraneous Autobot limbs. But I will say the one thing about this toy that sets him apart from Silverbolt and Scattershot is he doesn't need limbs. He doesn't need to be a combiner. He works well enough on his own. With Silverbolt and Scattershot, you expect them. They're combiner torsos. You know that going in. You don't need that shit with Cyclonus. You can just have him like that. He is good enough to stand on his own 2 feet like that. Is he as good as Universe Cyclonus? No, not in my opinion. But then again, Onslaught, Combiner Wars Onslaught had the same problem with, is he as good as Universe Onslaught? No. But it's a good, bloody good try. Taking the Silverbolt mold and just the extensive retooling and the reworking of the mold, it makes it really stand out. And there are elements where there are times when you can forget that it's a Silverbolt mold. The legs give it away and stuff, and the back kibble. But I've even read some comments where people have said they prefer this to the Universe Cyclonus. That's fine. I don't agree. I prefer the Universe Cyclonus still, because this does still try and shoehorn a combiner gimmick into it. But it comes from a torso design that was designed to shoehorn a combiner gimmick into it. So it's all fine and dandy, I guess. But yeah, check out the head sculpt. I would have liked if they'd kept a more traditional IDW look and severed off one of the horns. That would have been nice. But he has that typical Cyclonus look of complete contempt and disapproval. It's like, I got a B on my homework, you should have got an A, and stuff like that. So yeah, he also has these little horns, like fins, extra fins on his arms, on his forearms, that the other two don't have. He just looks nice. like I said, he really does work as a Cyclonus in and of himself without having to deal with all the combiner bollocks. So yeah, you have your leader class ones, Ultra Magnus, the Seekers, Megatron, that don't serve any combination function. And I think this stands alongside those pretty well. I mean, obviously it's smaller, but he doesn't need the combination to work because he just looks that good. And he really does look good. It's a really good job they've done with turning the Silverbolt mold into this. I mean, yes, he kind of doesn't have the full Cyclonus aesthetic because Cyclonus, being an 86 movie debutant, he was all rounded and sleek and sexy and all that, and had the curves and that. This one's more boxy, but again, it's fine. It's almost like they've given you an 85 Cyclonus instead of an 86 Cyclonus. That's how I would look at it. It's just really decent. I really enjoy this. Does it make my top 10? I've compiled my list of top 10. I managed to keep it to a top 10, and there are a few honourable mentions. That will be coming soon. Does Cyclonus make it? He might not. Depends. But yeah, I really like this. And I do tend, before I started doing these reviews, when I had them all in combiner modes, I had him as Galvatronus. But I kind of feel like it's swayed the other way now, because I didn't have Optimus Maximus in combined mode, because I didn't really like the Optimus Maximus combination that much. I had Betatron Galvatronus with Autobot limbs using his mind control. Be my friend, be my arm, be my legs. I think when I finally wrap up the Combiner Wars element of these reviews, I'll probably leave Cyclonus on his own and go with the Optimus Maximus, because Cyclonus is fine on his own, is good on his own. And honestly, in doing my other reviews, Optimus Maximus grew on me. So I might give Optimus Maximus another whirl. Not Generations whirl. Fuck is he anyway? How is that? So yeah, let's get into points of articulation, then I can get to the comparison. So his head. I think it can do a 360. It's just really awkward because there's not a lot of clearance around the neck and shoulders. Arms go out, nice ratchets there. The wings get in the way a little bit, but the wings have those little indents in, so they can just clip in nicely and stay out the way, although it does make from the side, makes him look a bit off. Upper bicep swivel, elbow. Only wrist action is up, which looks silly, but yeah, what are you going to do? I tend to have the wings splayed out just a little bit because it adds a bit more of a silhouette to him. It's more of that Cyclonus silhouette, and it doesn't look as bad from the back and the sides. So yeah, no waist swivel. Legs go out, they go forward, and they bend at the knees. Thigh swivel as well, and you've got a bit of foot action, up and down foot motion, and there's the heel on the back so you can have him have V feet if you want, high heels. Don't know why you'd wanna, but it'd probably work if were any females made out of this mold? Was Alita 1 did she come from this mold in Power of the Primes? I don't know, but then you could do like the fucking whole high heel thing. But again, why would you wanna? Just because she's a girl? Oh, I'm a girl, I've got to wear nice pretty shoes. No, you don't have to. Yeah, so all in all, I really like this one. I like Silverbolt. Scattershot's okay. I don't know about the Computron one, but Betatron is basically, he's too much like Silverbolt, but they've done enough with Cyclonus to make him different enough to differentiate the two. And that's what impresses me about this figure. It looks great. You can tell it comes from Silverbolt, but just, I mean, some of the detailing there, like you've got, like, that's part of the chest, obviously, but all the red and the nice silver paint just below the nose cone there, and on the thighs, great plastic hips, bit incongruous, grey plastic upper arms, silver fists, silver abdominal area, silver face, and silver upper chest there. Some nice groovings on the arms there as well that I dig. Obviously the fins. Yeah, there's a lot to like about this figure. He looks great. Bit dusty though. So yeah, he does stand. He can stand alone, or you can combine him. We'll do both. But yeah, let's get to the combination. No, not combination. The comparison between him and Silverbolt, and to a lesser degree, Scattershot. Okay, so here we have the comparison with Cyclonus, Silverbolt, and Scattershot. Obvious differences are the head sculpts. They all have different head sculpts. We'll go around the back. Stop that. Stand up, bitch. Good bitch. I'm mainly trying to just get the whole Scattershot differences out of the way, just so I can get them out of the way, so I've got more room to showcase Silverbolt and Cyclonus. Different nose cones there, and different wings, obviously. So yeah, some quite extensive retooling, especially between Cyclonus and Silverbolt. Not so extensive with Scattershot, because that's pretty much where the differences end with Scattershot. Just as a little side note, I did say before, didn't I, that I thought his panels on the back of his legs were bigger than Scattershot's. I can now confirm, but they're the same size as Cyclonus. So yeah, the head and the wings and the nose cone were the only differences between Cyclonus and Silverbolt and Scattershot. So I'm going to take Scattershot off the table now. Try and stand up Cyclonus a bit better, bear with me. There we go, Silverbolt. There we are. Okay, so head's obvious difference. Just let my camera refocus. There we go. Now the shoulders appear to be the same. That's fine. Upper forearms or biceps appear to be the same. Again, that's fine. They have the same ridge detail on the forearms. I didn't pick up on that with Silverbolt. I thought that was a new thing for Cyclonus, but no, it's not. But they're painted on Cyclonus in a darker purple. Obviously, Silverbolt has the black fist. Cyclonus has the silvers. Cyclonus also has those fins. Scattershot also has the ridge forearms quickly. Chests are different. This is where the differences really start to come into play. Silverbolt has that chest assembly there. Cyclonus has a more, I wouldn't say cartoon accurate, but it's definitely different. I believe the abdominal area and the waist are the same, but the chest sculpting is definitely different there. He has that, I said he was blocky early, but he has that more rounded chest that the original Cyclonus character model has. But yeah, it looks like the ab sections are the same, except Cyclonus is painted silver. Silverbolt's is two-tone white and orange. And also Cyclonus, because of his chest, it plugs up those holes where the Superion horn nipples would come through. Same crotch piece, same upper thighs, just painted differently. And the lower legs, they are, for all intents and purposes, the same, but if you go around to the side, you have differences because of the Galvatronus chest. So, different shape, different sculpt, different moulding entirely there. So, yeah. Those are the differences between Cyclonus and Silverbolt, and by proxy, Scattershot. Let's get Cyclonus into his jet mode. Okay, so we'll get the issue out of the way of the underside. It's covered it before many a time. It doesn't look great, but it can't always be helped. One other issue that I have with this is that you can use the chest to cover the leg holes a bit, but it doesn't quite sit flush because it's a different chest sculpt. The Galvatronus chest sculpt doesn't quite sit flush on there. It kind of pops up a little bit and there's a little opening there where it won't close properly. So yeah, the sides, I mean, from the side it looks okay. The bottom, it's the same as Silverbolt Scattershot and a whole fuck ton of other jets. It's always going to be an issue. The top looks nice though. He doesn't look, he's not as sleek and round like the Generation 1 or character model or the Universe thing, but he looks fucking sharp. I mean, you could use that as a throwing star and he would fucking take someone's eye out. He looks deadly. I mean, if you look at some of the sculpting on there as well that I don't really highlight in the comparison, but some really nice sculpting, and the different shades of purple as well. Really, it's a really nice top, I'll say. Top of the jet mode is really nice. Nice, the cockpit there at the back with the outstretched black, silver, purple nose spear thing that gives off the illusion of that retractable gun thing or whatever it was that popped out the end. The dog penis, if you will. But yeah, it's I do like it. The jet mode, it works if you look at it from the right angle. That's the same thing with all these other jet modes. The leaders, Skywalk, Thundercracker, Starscream, they hid their jet parts a bit better, but there are ways around it. It looks a bit messy underneath, but it did with Silverbolt. I think I gave Silverbolt a pass because he was an aerial bot. That was always going to be a problem. Cyclonus never really had that issue though, did he? He always had a tidy jet mode, so I guess that's probably why I'm a little bit harsher on this. But I bought it knowing it was a Silverbolt repaint. I knew what I was getting into, so you know, that's on me. But the top of it does look the tits. Let's do a quick comparison with Silverbolt and Scattershot in their jet modes. Now, because of Cyclonus's fins, it's hard for him to stay upright the same way that Silverbolt and Scattershot do. I guess you could take them out because they are just inserted into those holes that Silverbolt and Scattershot have on their forearms. But it's sort of like, it's not a deal breaker or anything like that. So yeah, nose cones are obviously moulded differently. Scattershot has the big bastard gun. Cyclonus has the cockpit at the back with this nice long nose, and then Silverbolt has the cockpit at the front of a long nose. Scattershot and Silverbolt also have these side bits, different actually, but yeah, part of the cockpit. Cyclonus is lacking those. We go to the back. Silverbolt has the triple fin there. Scattershot has the sort of triple fin. It's a double fin with a gun, because he's a mean bastard apparently. Cyclonus just has single fins on either side, so that entire back part is different as well. And then some of the moulding, the sculpted details, been over Scattershot and Silverbolt's differences before. Cyclonus is different also because it's similar if you look at those two, but that area is where the fins are for Cyclonus, so he's got a whole new assembly there. And yeah, the sculpting and the lining on this figure is nice. It's nice on all of them. All the little ridges and the little detail that they're fucking engraved into these things. Yeah, all in all, 3 nice different jets. Scattershot definitely is more worthy of comparison in jet mode. He can stay for the jet comparison because he is so different as a jet. When it came to the robot comparison, there wasn't really much to talk about regarding him. So yeah, good job on 3 different jets. Undersides all look the same, but I'm not going to gripe about the undersides too much. Let's get Cyclonus into his torso mode. Okay, so I thought for about 3 minutes on what set of limbs I was going to give Cyclonus. I was going to give him generic Autobot limbs, just because they're not part of any team. But then I thought, no. In this one instance, I'll break my own rule, and I will borrow another team, just to make a point. To further illustrate something I said a long time ago. I present to you Cyokaiser, or Lyoclonus, whichever one you want to say. Just to give him a Decepticon team for a start, and also to illustrate the point that giving him the Silverbolt, or by remoulding Silverbolt into Leozak, was the best way to go. It doesn't make him look any less imposing, it doesn't make him look any less threatening, it doesn't make him look any worse. All you had to do was take Cyclonus, or even Silverbolt, whichever one of that mould, give them a different head, a different standard robot head and a different combined head, and you'd have a really good Lyokaiser. You would have had a Lyokaiser I would have paid full price for, not wait till it's on offer. But anyway, that's my point that I wanted to make. Should have been Leozak, and Cyclonus is a good example of that. But this is Galvatronus, not Cyokaiser. And he has that nice, angry, almost insane, wild look about him on his face. The chest, it has that 5-pack that Galvatron's known for. Fins on the hips add a little bit of extra lethality, or lethalness to it. All in all, it's a really good torso. And again, I mentioned the robot modes between Silverbolt and Cyclonus were vastly different. The jet modes between all 3 on the top are vastly different. And again, combined mode is vastly different. All in all, a very impressive figure. Would I have liked the Decepticon team to go with him? Yeah. Would I have rather seen this mould used for Lio Kaiser? Definitely. But we've got Galvatronus, and that'll do for now, won't it? Very successful figure. Last of the Gestalts in terms of the Scramble City ones. I can get on to fresh new things now. Yeah. Lio Galvatronus looks great. Maybe could have used different coloured limbs because it doesn't really go well with the purple, I don't think, as well. But, you know, fucking Leozak's minty fresh, so what are you going to do? I'm not going to do a big sign-off about, oh, it's been a hell of a ride and all that shit, because I've still got stuff to do. So, in terms of the scrambles, I'm glad it's over with the scramblers, because it was getting repetitive towards the end. We end on a good one. I like the Cyclonus a lot. It's not as good as the Universe Cyclonus, but then again, Onslaught isn't as good as Universe Onslaught. So, you know, it is that. Those two were impeccable figures, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean that Onslaught and Cyclonus are bad. They're not. They're really not. Cyclonus has the jet issues. And I think it's more prevalent in a Cyclonus figure because he's not supposed to be boxy. So it kind of like when it gets to the jet mode and it's all packed there underneath, it kind of looks a bit egregious because it's not what you expect from Cyclonus. And you expect it from Silverbolt. But all in all, still a really good figure. He's one that stands on his own, so I will put the... I'm going to start reassembling these bad boys. And then I'll do my top 10. And then I'll do the tit bots. I still got to do the tit bots. And then we'll be back with Ultra Magnus. And obviously those two other videos will be first, but yeah, back to an actual Combiner Wars review. We end with Ultra Magnus and then Devastator. So, thank you very much for watching. If you watched, if you didn't, I don't know, do I? I've been Mike, Dezaras Prime, and you shall see me in a bitch.